Welcome to this video lecture on case construction when it comes to debate. Now, in order to deal with how you set up a case, we got to talk about a whole bunch of different elements that are involved. And just to warn you from the start, what I'm going to talk about right now is sort of the basic case construction. Like, how do you set up a case, right? But you're not always going to use this. You're going to find after a while, as you get deeper and deeper into debate, that you get to be a little bit creative. You get to do some new and different things. But for the moment, just like anything, you want to learn the basic building blocks. You want to learn the rules. Now, last time around, you learned about a basic argument. Basic argument is a claim, a warrant, and an impact. But we don't want to just give out one argument, right? We want to give a case of arguments or a variety of arguments that are going to make our overall argument really complicated. So we're going to jump into that right now and talk about case construction. And we're going to do it with movies and a friend of mine you might know named Draco. Okay, so let's start off here. Imagine for a moment that you're hanging out with some friends and one of your friends, you know the guy, Draco, is giving you a little bit of problems. Now, you want to go out to dinner this Friday night. So you know this guy, right? Draco. Draco always gives you a little bit of problems. Now, you tell your friends, hey, I want to go out to dinner, but Draco says, I think we're going to go out to a movie. Okay, here's the big inherent problem with that. It costs a lot of money to go out to movies, right? We all know these days between popcorn and going to a movie and drinks, it's like $30, right? You don't want to have to pay that kind of money. So you turn to Draco and you say, we're not going to do that because that's a problem. It's an inherent problem in the status quo. Yeah, right. You're going to use that language, right? So here's the point. Inherency is when you have a problem. The status quo is what's happening right now. So right now we're seeing too costly for movies, right? Our inherent problem is that's going to cost a lot of money. Okay, next up, Draco turns to you and says, yeah, I get what you're saying, but so what? So there's a problem. What's the big deal with that? That comes up the next thing. You've got to show that there's a harm. What's the disadvantage that comes off of this inherent problem? Well, you've got one. Here's what your disadvantage is. Your allowance isn't all that much. And if you go out and blow $30, you're not going to be able to do much for the rest of the month. So it's not that the price is the problem. It's the consequence or the harm that comes off of that. The harm is if you spend $30 now, you're not going to be able to do much more. Okay, next up is the plan. The plan is what you're going to do because of all this. Now, a plan is really simple. It's only like 1 or 2 sentences. And for now, just keep in mind, we're going to talk about it as a plan. Eventually, we're going to talk about it as a framework. How you're going to look at this. So I have a plan for us. Here's our plan. Our plan, you say to Draco, is, hey, dude, it's really simple. We're going to stay at home. We're going to watch a movie there because my parents have this great backyard setup, great surround sound, not a problem. And on top of that, they got food. We don't even have to pay for it because they got like frozen pizzas and we can make popcorn. It's all good, right? That's our plan. Stay at home, watch the movie. Let's have some free food. Now, Draco's going to turn to you at some point. He's going to say, well, whatever. I want to go see this movie outdoors. How does your plan solve anything? And that actually is a really good question. In fact, it's probably one of the most important things in debate. You've got to demonstrate your plan has what we call solvency, or it solves the problem. So you turn to him and you say, not a problem. My plan solves. We get to watch a movie, so we're doing what you're doing in the backyard, plus we get food, and hey, we don't even have to pay anything for it. It's all on my parents off of this one. So my plan solves for everything. It has solvency. Okay, next up. What's the advantage, though, of all of this? Yeah, sure, it solves, but Draco can always turn to you and say, hey, I get that it's solving the problem. Why do I want to buy into this? What's the big advantage? And you say, got it, man, not a problem. Here's the big advantage. We don't spend any money. We have a ton of fun. And on top of that, I've got my allowance for the rest of the month, so we can go out another time. Now, in the end, Draco's still going to turn to you. He's going to say, yeah, well, your plan's got some problems. What if there's bad weather that night? What if the electricity goes out in the entire neighborhood? What if we don't really like the movie that you're showing in the backyard? Or, what if we just don't like frozen pizzas? Okay, here's what you do. You say to him, hey, look, every plan's got its problems, but what we're going to do is we're going to weigh. And that's going to be really important. Now, we're going to get more into this a little bit later on in the next following weeks because there are different types of weighing. But what you want to do is you want to argue and say, hey, look, sure, there are problems with every plan, but overall, my plan is the best. If we go and we watch this movie out back doors, we don't pay anything for it, we can have some free food. And on top of that, I get to go out with you guys for the rest of the month. I outweigh. Okay, guys, that's what it means to construct a case. So again, inherency, problem with the status quo. The harm, the disadvantage that comes off of that. The plan, what we're going to do. Solvency, how do we solve for that problem? The advantage, what's the benefit that comes off of our plan and our solvency? Last off, weighing, why do we have the overall best advantages? Hope that helps you out. Let's see what you can come up with for your cases.